Treaty No. 4, signed in 1874, was the fourth of 11 numbered treaties between the Crown and First Nations in Canada. It was negotiated between the Canadian government and the Cree, Saulteaux, and Assiniboine nations of the Prairie region. Treaty No. 4 covers present-day southern Saskatchewan. It was signed in order to promote peace and friendship between all parties, to ensure the security of land and resources, and to provide First Nations with recognition and affirm their rights. The treaty was signed in response to the influx of settlers who were moving into the area. Settlers brought with them technologies and customs that threatened the traditional way of life of the First Nations. The Cree, Saulteaux, Assiniboine and Métis people were concerned about the declining numbers of animals which had provided them all with a living for generations. The treaty was signed to ensure that the inherent rights of Indigenous people were respected and that they could continue their traditional ways of life without interference from the settlers. Treaty No. 4 provided a number of provisions that were of great benefit to the First Nations, such as the recognition of their title to certain lands, the exemption of certain lands from taxation, and the provision of annuities to the First Nations for the next 5 years. Additionally, it recognized the authority of the First Nations over their own people, affirmed the right to hunt and fish on traditional territories, and allowed for the establishment of reserves. Treaty No. 4 was a groundbreaking agreement that acknowledged the rights and interests of the First Nations and provided them with a measure of protection from the rapid inflow of settlers. For example, the treaty contains the following statement.
It is further agreed between Her Majesty and her said Indian subjects that such sections of the reserves above indicated as may at any time be required for public works or building of whatsoever nature may be appropriated for that purpose by Her Majesty's Government of the Dominion of Canada, due compensation being made to the Indians for the value of any improvements thereon, and an equivalent in land or money for the area of the reserve so appropriated.
The treaty also provided the basis for subsequent negotiations and agreements between the federal government and the First Nations, and it continues to be a source of important rights and recognition for First Nations in Canada in the 21st century.